Hi everyone, and welcome to today's morning report with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Hantech Markets for Tuesday the 18th of March. The recovery that we saw in financial markets around the world yesterday seems to be slightly petering out, and the reason is that certainly the bounce was on the back of the sanctions that the Western governments have been putting on Russia seems to be fairly lukewarm and not all that extensive, and I think the market certainly cheered on the back of that. But certainly today, it now looks like Vladimir Putin is going to ramp up the pressure on these Western governments once more with a speech today that is going to come out around about 11 o'clock GMT this morning, which is expected to lay the groundwork for Crimea to become part of the Russian Federation, and that is putting a little bit of uncertainty back into these markets today. The stock markets are lower again. Currency pairs are also back under pressure once more, and there's a flight back towards the yen, which is the classic safe haven asset of choice. That is today. Certainly yesterday we saw an improvement in volatility, in terms of there was a sharp rise in volatility on Friday. That came down back lower, around about 13%. The VIX fell yesterday, but you'll see that you're still above the trading range that we found for about a month or so. So you'd still suggest that volatility remains fairly high in terms of overall levels, despite that big decline yesterday. So that'll be interesting to watch that today, whether that rises once more in light of this renewed speculation over the worsening of the situation in Russia and the Ukraine. Today, the major focus for investors will be the US inflation data. That comes out at 1:30 that comes out at 12:30 GMT this afternoon. Expected to come in at 1.2% for the main number, but once you strip out food and energy prices for the core number, it actually is expected to stay around 1.6%. So there's no major movements there in inflation that's expected today. Before that, you've got the German ZEW economic sentiment. That's forecast to come in at 52, down from 55.7. That's at 10 o'clock GMT this morning as well. So that might produce a little bit of volatility for the euro this morning as well. My chart of the day that I'm going to be looking at is the FTSE 100. FTSE actually found support pretty much bang on 6,500 on Friday, and pushed higher. And that yesterday's move above the Friday high was actually the first time in 8 sessions where the FTSE actually moved above the previous day's high. So that was a slight change around in sentiment. I think we've seen there. You've also, on the daily chart, we've also got a bottoming out of the stochastics, and it looks like we've had a crossover buy signal there. Nothing majorly impressive to go on in terms of the MACD lines yet. FTSE is towards the lower band of towards oversold, but I think we may be not far off the formation of a low here, and maybe that 6,500 is a low. Just in early hours of trading today, the FTSE has been under pressure back below the 6,550 level, which had actually acted as a basis of support yesterday, and that has been broken in the early hours of today. So the pressure is back towards the downside, and it'll be interesting to see if the FTSE can form some sort of higher low above that 6,500 level, and that will be, I think, what traders will be watching out for. The upside limits yesterday seemed to find resistance around about that 61.8% Fibonacci retracement, which is 6,588. That is the 61.8% retracement of that big bull run in February. So that acted as resistance. So you need to watch out for that on the upside, and certainly there seems to be resistance around the 6,600 level as well, which had formed a bit of a support band through the sell-off, but now should become resistance. So we'll watch out for any sort of recovery in this FTSE chart. As I said, if it can form a higher low above 6,500, you might be able to start to get a little bit more positive about this. I'm a bit disappointed early on the fact that FTSE fell below that 6,550 level. But as I said, if it can bounce, the low so far is 6,535, and if it can form as I said, a higher low above 6,500, then you can maybe able to start to think about a recovery. You're back above this. This is on the hourly chart. You're back above this falling 21-hour moving average, which had been the basis of resistance. That pretty much where the FTSE is trading around now. So that is an interesting indicator to also keep an eye on. If it can begin to form support above there, also that is positive for a recovery. I think this Vladimir Putin speech at 11 o'clock today certainly has the potential to put the wind up the markets, and maybe have a bit of volatility increase today. It depends on how he. I think it would probably depend on how how belligerent he gives the speech, maybe, because there is the possibility of further sanctions, I suppose, that can be imposed on Putin and his regime. But that could potentially be coming towards the end of the week, where the EU finance ministers and EU leaders meet once more, so that will be interesting today. Anyway, I wish you good luck in your trading, and I will speak to you later. Thank you.